Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Evayatari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Evayatari. Yashodanandana Bhajajananjana. Yashodanandana Bhajajananjana. Yamunatira Vanachai. Yamunatira Vanachai. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Givadhari. Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Givadhari. Yashodanandana Bhajajananjana. Yashodanandana Bhajajananjana. Yamunatira Vanachai. Yamunatira Vanachai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Everyone together. Narayanam namaskityam naram cheva narotanam devim sarasvatim vyasam tato jayamudiyayat nastapayesha badeshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati utama shloke bhaktiya bhavati naishtaki Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Panchakalpatubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pachayine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatayine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Good morning. Welcome to Srimad Bhagavatam class. You're here again. Look at you. You're doing so good. Wow. I want to let you know that I'm a little bit under the weather, so if I'm acting a little weird, that's why. But today we're studying Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, the prayers offered to the Lord by the residents of Jambudweep. And we will be going from verse 7 to 9 or 10. The verse that we're focusing on is 9. So we'll stop at 9, and then if we have time, we'll do 10. If not, then you can go check it out on your own. So here, we're doing a little bit of a switch up because now we're having specifically Prahlad Maharaj offer his prayers. I'm making Oh yeah, you didn't expect it, but Prahlad just came into the picture. That's nice. It's really amazing because to me, when I think about this part of the fifth canto, I'm like, okay, we're getting into the planetary systems and all that. But now we have Prahlad that just came in, and he is offering some really beautiful prayers to Lord Nrsingadev, actually. And yeah, let's just kickstart it. So we have microphones. Can we start with text 7, please?
Text 7. Sukadev Goswami continued, My dear king, Lord Nrsimhadev resides in the tract of land known as Harivasha. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord to assume the form of Nrsimhadev. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all good qualities of great personalities. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of his demoniac family. Lord Nrsimhadev is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus, Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the denizens of Harivasha, worships Lord Nrsimhadev by chanting the following mantra.
Next, please.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance so that by your mercy we can become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world.
This is really nice. Can we read this one again? This one's very important. Can you read it again? Thank you.
I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth like just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world.
Chai. Yeah, this is very important verse because this is showing us how we're supposed to be praying, how we should be praying to the Lord, specifically to Lord Nrsimhadev. So, we have this, we say Lord Nrsimhadev, we pray for protection. You get in a car, you drive somewhere, you chant Nrsimhadev, pray with protection. But protection for what? Protection for the body, protection for the mind, or protection for the soul. So it's protection for the soul mainly, actually. And that's what Prahlad is saying. He's like, please, my Lord, please drive away these anarthas, these impurities in my heart that are stopping me from serving you with love and devotion. And by this, when the anarthas are gone and we're completely purified, there's no more fear. Just like Prabhupada, his birth name was Abhay, which means fearless, because he was freed from all of these impurities in the heart. Okay. Text 9, please.
May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in the thought of him.
Okay, we'll read 10. There's not that many verses. Last one, 10, please. Yes, he read.
My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees, whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others, who are too attached to material things, find advancement very difficult.
Yeah, this one can be a bit heavy for a newcomer to hear, that we shouldn't feel attraction for the prison of family life. But it's important here that we make the distinction between Grihastha and Grihamedi. So Grihamedi is a home where the goal is just to enjoy. And that's what it's referring to. But when you have a Grihastha, which is a home, Grihastha ashram, a home where devotees are living and are trying to serve Krishna. So here you have attachment for devotees, if you're attached to that kind of family, and then you can become very dear to Krishna like this. All right, we'll focus on text 9, please. So we'll read the Sanskrit. Svastastu vishvasaya kalapasidatam. Svastastu dayantu dayantu bhutani shivam mito dviya. Manashabadam vajata dadokshaje. Aveshyatam no mati apyahaituki. Svasasyastu vishvasaya kalapasidatam. Dayantu bhutani shivam mito diya. Manashtabadam vajata dadokshaje. Aveshyatam no mate apyahaituki. Please sing. Svasyastu vishvasya kalapasidatam. Jayantu bhutani shivam mito diya. Manashabadam vajata dadokshaje. Aveshyatam no mati apyahaituki. Svasyastu vishvasya kalapasidatam. Jayantu bhutani shivam mito diya. Manashabadam vajata dadokshaje. Aveshyatam no mati apyahaituki. Okay, we'll go to the synonyms. Everyone together. Svasti, auspiciousness. Astu, let there be. Vishvasya, of the entire universe. Kala, the envious almost everyone. Prasidatam, let them be pacified. Dayantu, let them consider. Bhutani, all the living entities. Shivam, auspiciousness. Mitaha, mutual. Diya, by their intelligence. Manaha, the mind. Cha, end. Padam, calmness. Vajatat, let it experience. Adokshaje, in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is beyond the perception of mind, intelligence, and senses. Aveshyatam, let it be absorbed. Na, our. Mati, intelligence. Api, indeed. Ahaituki, without any motive. Before we read the translation, I want everyone to have our fullest intention to try to absorb as much from this verse, because I think it's one of the most important verses in the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually. And one of my teachers, a Prabhupada disciple, says it's her favorite verse in the whole Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, because it really shows the mood of a devotee. So, may there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of him. It's nice, isn't it? Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The following verse describes a Vaishnava. Vanchakalpatubhyascha kipa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Just like a desired tree, a Vaishnava can fulfill all the desires of anyone who takes shelter of his lotus feet. Prahlad Maharaj is a typical Vaishnava. He prays not for himself, but for all living entities, the gentle, the envious, and the mischievous. He always thought of the welfare of mischievous persons like his father Hiranyakashipu. Prahlad Maharaj did not ask for anything for himself. Rather, he prayed for the Lord to excuse his demoniac father. This is the attitude of a Vaishnava who always thinks of the welfare of the entire universe. Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Dharma are meant for persons who are completely free of envy. Parama nirmatsaranam. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays in this verse, Kala prasidatam. May all the envious persons be pacified. The material world is full of envious persons, but if one frees himself of envy, he becomes liberal in his social dealings and can think of others' welfare. Anyone who takes up Krishna consciousness and engages himself completely in the service of the Lord cleanses his mind of all envy. Manas Shabadam Bhajatam Adokshaje. Therefore, we should pray to Lord Nrsingadev to sit in our hearts. We should pray, Bahir Nishimho Hildaye Nishimho. Let Lord Nrsingadev sit in the core of my heart, killing all my bad propensities. Let my mind become clean so that I may peacefully worship the Lord and bring peace to the entire world. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has given us a very fine purport in this regard. Whenever one offers a prayer to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one always requests some benediction from him. Even pure Nishkama devotees pray for some benediction, as instructed by Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his Shikshastika. Ainanda tanuja kinkaham patitamam vishame bhavam buddho ipaya tava pada pankaja stita duli sadisham vichintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor, yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from the ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. In another prayer, Lord Chaitanya says, Mama janmani janmani shvahe bhavata bhaktiya haituki tvai. Life after life, kindly let me have unalloyed love and devotion at your Lordship's lotus feet. When Prahlad Maharaj chants Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya, he prays for a benediction from the Lord. But because he is also an exalted Vaishnava, he wants nothing for his personal sense gratification. The first desire expressed in his prayer is Svasyastu Vishvasya. Let there be good fortune throughout the entire universe. Prahlad Maharaj thus requested the Lord to be merciful to everyone, including his father, the most envious person. According to Chanakya Pandit, there are two kinds of envious living entities. One is a snake, and the other is the man like Hiranyakashipu, who is by nature envious of everyone, even of his father or son. Hiranyakashipu was envious of his little son Prahlad, but Prahlad Maharaj asked a benediction for the benefit of his father. Hiranyakashipu was very envious of devotees, but Prahlad wished that his father and other demons like him would give up their envious nature by the grace of the Lord and stop harassing the devotees. Kala prasidatam. The difficulty is that the kala, envious living entity, is rarely pacified. One kind of kala, the snake, can be pacified simply by mantras or by the action of a particular herb. Mantro shabdi shadi vasha sarpa kalakena ne vilyate. An envious person, however, cannot be pacified by any means. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that all envious persons may undergo a change of heart and think of the welfare of others. This is an interesting analogy here he makes, that the snake is known as like envious creature, and one way to pacify the snake, or you could say one of the only ways to pacify, is with mantras. You have like snake charmers, and they can pacify the snake. So like that, we can pacify the snake of envy in our own hearts by the power of mantra. That's pretty cool. If the Krishna consciousness movement spreads all over the world, and if by the grace of Krishna everyone accepts it, the The thinking of envious people will change. Everyone will think of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays, Shivan Mito Diya. In material activities, everyone is envious of others, but in Krishna consciousness, no one is envious of anyone else. Everyone thinks of the welfare of others. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays that everyone's mind may become gentle by being fixed at the lotus feet of Krishna, Bhajatada Dokshaji, as indicated elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, Savemana Krishna Padaravindayo. And as advised by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita 1865, Manmana Bhavamad Bhakta, one should constantly think of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, then one's mind will certainly be cleansed. Chetodarpana Marjanam. Materialists always think of sense gratification, but Prahlad Maharaj prays that the Lord's mercy will change their minds and they will stop thinking of sense gratification. If they think of Krishna always, everything will be all right. Some people argue that if everyone thought of Krishna in that way, the whole universe would be vacated because everyone would just go back home, back to Godhead. However, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that this is impossible because the living entities are innumerable. If one set of living entities is actually delivered by the Krishna consciousness movement, another set will fill the entire universe. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. What a purport. Oh, Krishna. There must have been how many references in here? Unbelievable. I mean, what else can I say? I can just humbly add my own personal realizations, perhaps, or other verses in regards to this. Yeah, one thought that I was having was, you know, it reminds me of a conversation I had with my dad when we were at the cottage. And, I'm trying to explain to him Krishna consciousness and like how it's, the greatest welfare that we can do for ourselves and for everybody else. And he just wasn't really getting it, because he's actually he's very like altruistic kind. Like he really cares about others and he always did everything for us. But just because of his materialistic understanding, he can't see how these spiritual practices can bring welfare to others. Because he was just like, oh, you spend like 2 hours every morning like praying, you could be doing so much service for others during that time. But actually what we're doing here is the highest welfare work. It's the best thing we can actually do for the whole world, and this is why. So the first quote that I wanted to share was Bhagavad Gita 4:22, where Krishna says, Yadvikshalabha santushto dvanvatito vimatsara samasidav asidocha idvapina nibadyate. He who is satisfied with gain, which comes of its own accord, who is free from duality and does not envy, who is steady in both success and failure, is never entangled although performing actions. So this is in relation to when Prahlad says that he wants all the envious people to be pacified. And by this practice of yoga, this practice of bhakti, we can be freed of envy. Why? Because we accept everything that comes to us out of its own accord. Whatever Krishna gives me is great. Whatever Krishna does is good. And so we don't have envy. Oh, why does she have that? She doesn't deserve that. I should have that. I should be the boss here. Or, why is he so rich? I'm working so hard day and night and I stay poor. This is envy, and this comes from dissatisfaction and not being satisfied with whatever comes out of its own accord. And somebody like that can be so peaceful, so peaceful. Trinara peace, unichena, taora peace, aishnana. There's no disturbances in the mind because, hey, I'm getting exactly what I need. Krishna is providing everything that I need. He's got me on this path back to him. It might take a lifetime. It might take more lifetimes. But I trust him. I love him. And I know that if I'm just doing my best to serve him, that he will take care of me. And then in regards to may all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga. I mean, calm is an understatement, what you get from practicing bhakti yoga. But definitely you get a lot of peace and more. So one verse I was thinking of was 9.2 of the Bhagavad Gita. Raja Vidya Raja Guyam Pavitam Idam Uttamam Pratyakshavāgamam Dharmyam Susukam Katum Avyayam. This knowledge is the king of education, the most secret of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. So that's always it's like the double two-prong. Is that the prong? Two-prong approach? I think it's an American expression I'm still trying to catch up on. It's the double thing. So it's this bhakti assures us the best future, but it also is joyfully performed right now. Like, every morning we're having such a good time in here. At least I am. Who here has a good time every morning in here? I mean, you keep coming back, so it must be pretty good. And also it is everlasting. So the progress that you make, the advancement, it never dies. Like, it never goes down. It just keeps going up and up compared to materialistic activities that are just temporary. There is also Srimad Bhagavatam 126. Savaipum sham parodamo yato bhaktira dokshaje ahaituki apatihata yayatma supasidati. I turned this one into a rap song, so now I have to like rewire my mind not to sing it in a rap format right now. Yeah, it goes like this. Savaipum sham parodamo yato bhaktira dokshaje ahaituki apatihata Yayatma Supasidati. The supreme occupation of the spirit soul is to provide loving service to the Supreme Lord. Anyways, yeah, the full verse goes like this. The supreme occupation, dharma, for all humanity is that by which men, or people, can attain to loving devotional service unto the transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. So what is this telling us? This is telling us that this bhakti can completely satisfy us. But what is the condition? It must be constant, uninterrupted, and unmotivated. Yeah. What does that mean? Anyone have any idea what that means? Those two things. Yeah. You have to be a pure devotee. What does that mean?
Well, the pure devotee doesn't have any motivation when they do their bhakti. And the pure devotee also, sometimes people do bhakti and then once their distress is gone, then they stop. But the pure devotee doesn't stop because that's not his goal, is to have his distresses removed. And the pure devotee doesn't let anything interrupt his bhakti. So, yeah.
Yeah, every minute of every day. That's what, when I asked Bhakti Marg Swami Maharaj, I was like, what's a pure devotee? What's the qualification? He said, every minute of every day is in the service of the Lord in one way, one shape or another. And and then also the first verse of Shikshashtakam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shayakaya Vachanika Vitanam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vadanam Patipadam Purnamita Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Glory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. So this kind of builds off of 9.2 that I was saying, that this is a blissful process as we go, because it's cleansing the mirror, it's cleansing all of the dust. And so we can finally see, hey, who am I? You know, our mirror is so dirty. You're like, who am I? Oh, I see like a shape. I must be that shape, I guess. I must be that body. You know? But when it's completely clear, you can see the soul, you can see the Krishna's spiritual spark. And then the last part here, where he says, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. So this one really touches my heart personally. Ever since I can remember, I mean, being like a young, even like adolescent or like young adult, I started to realize, I was like, this society is really messed up. It's like, I don't know. There's so much like conflict and so much inequalities and oppression, whether it's between gender or different races or classes, or even like what we call like ableism, you know, people that are more able-bodied and people who are more disabled. And it just really bothered me. Most specifically in high school, I was just seeing how women were being treated, honestly. And it was like so bad, actually. Like, it's like, I've heard a comedian say that for women to be attracted to men, it's like a deer that's attracted to a tiger. It's like you don't really have a choice. You're attracted to him, but he doesn't have your best intention. And it's not to generalize all men, obviously, but in society nowadays, with the way that hypersexualization is there and that women are treated like sex objects, this is what we see. And this was all predicted in the Srimad Bhagavatam, actually, in the 12th canto, that the world would become more and more just focused on sex. So then you see the other gender as being an object of your sense gratification. Very, very grateful that we made it in here and we're in the company of devotees, and we can be somewhat safe, more safe from that. But it's important that we always keep our compassion for the rest of the world who doesn't have this kind of shelter, you know, and so, yeah, a devotee is always thinking, how can I help? You know, how can I help others? And I was thinking of a good example that we can focus on. I mean, Prahlad Maharaj is amazing. Let me just speak a little bit on him first. So, son of a demon, treated terribly by his father, by everyone around him, basically. Actually, he didn't even, he just heard instructions from his guru, like Narada Muni in the womb, but that's all he had. He didn't have the direct darshan of the Lord or anything, but he had firm faith, and he was always remembering the Lord. But he was treated awful, and he remained totally tolerant, and he never gathered any animosity for his father. Even after Narasimhadev came and, you know, ripped him apart, then Narasimhadev asked him, he's like, okay, you know, you're my dear devotee, I give you any benediction you want. And what was Prahlad's response? He was concerned about his father. Can you imagine how beautiful it is? Because he has compassion. He understands that, hey, nobody really decides to be like evil. It's conditioning. It's the influence of the material energy. And I heard a quote a long time ago in psychology. They say if you get to know somebody closely enough, there's nobody that you can't learn to like accept or like to love. And you know, like if you really understand, okay, where did they come from? How did they get to be like that? And that gives us compassion. And Prahlad had that. He also said, "Hey, my Lord, I'm not a businessman. I don't want to do business with you. Oh, I do this for you. You do this for me." He's like, I just want to serve you unconditionally. But then the Lord was insisting, and one thing he said, he wanted his father to be freed. Another thing he said was, please remove any material desires from my heart. Please, I don't want any material desires. So that, in a way, is the same as saying, I only want to desire you. I only want to desire to serve you. And another example that I was thinking of was that I wanted to focus on is Haridas Thakur. He's very, I mean, we have so many examples of Vaishnavas, but I just started reading his biography, and so he's really amazing. And there's some verses in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela chapter 8, text 55. Just if you can put it up, please. Adi Leela chapter 8, verse 55. There's a few verses glorifying Sri Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur, he was born of a Mohammedan family during the time of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But he became totally pure devotee. He is known as the Namacharya. Why is he called Namacharya? 55. Chapter 8, verse 55. I mean, we'll go from 55 to like 59, so you can go in the whole section. Why is he called Namacharya? He's chanting over 300,000 names of Radha and Krishna. Who knows how many names we chant when we chant 16 rounds? Names. Yes. I said it this morning. Something like that, 27,000, something like that. Yeah. And he was chanting over 300,000 names. So how is it that anyone can chant this much? Any idea? How is that even possible? Yeah. Yeah, he had so much taste for the holy name that he wanted unlimited ears and tongues. But how did he get to a point of having so much taste? Why don't we have that taste? Microphone, please. I think people online will want to hear what Gokulananda Prabhu has to say.
There could be so many answers to this, but one that comes to my mind is Bhaktivinoda Thakur talks about adhikar. So adhikar is you have the privilege, unless it is awarded by the Lord, it's not possible. So he is none other than Lord Brahma, and we all know the story when he offended Krishna and he begged for the benediction at the end that may I be born as, I'm just paraphrasing, I don't remember the exact words, in a lowly family, low birth, and may I never forget you, and may I constantly chant your names. So that's how he was born as Haridas Thakur, and he is originally our Sampradaya's Acharya, right? If you see. So one more thing that comes to my mind is talking about Acharya, right? The term Acharya in Sanskrit means one who teaches by an example, right? And Haridas Thakur himself used to say there is Acharya and Prachar. Someone may be very good following the principles, so versa. So good through his own example. That's how he's Namacharya.
Wow, thank you so much. Prachar and Adhikar. Yeah. Yeah. They say the greatest devotee, he knows the way, walks the way, and shows the way. I think this is ISKCON Swami that gave us this. So, yeah, I'm really glad you brought up the background of Srila Haridas Thakur. I just read this last night. I was blown away. I didn't actually know that he was Lord Brahma. He was Lord Brahma in his past life. And it said that he was, we know the story of when Lord Brahma stole the cowherd boys. And he felt so much remorse afterwards when he realized that he stole the friends and the cows of the Lord himself. And so he gave some of the most beautiful prayers actually in the Srimad Bhagavatam. I always remember I was flying when I read them, when I heard them and read them, and I remember it really hit my heart. But even after all that, how did Krishna respond? He just kind of stayed silent and walked away. So you can imagine how he felt. You can imagine how he felt, because he was really sincerely remorseful. But the thing is, what he took the devotees away from Krishna. That's quite the offense. Compared to Lord Indra, who by his own mischievous, by his own envy, he brought the devotees together under Govardhan Hill. So then Lord Brahma was thinking, he's like, wow, I really need to make up for this. I really learned my lesson, and so I pray that I may come back and be a pure devotee. And so he came back as Haridas Thakur, and he came back, and he was said too that he was born in like what we know as a lower class family because of his mistake, but he was completely absorbed in chanting and preaching. And so we'll just read a few verses on him here. From who wants to read from 55 to 59?
He was gentle, tolerant, peaceful, magnanimous, grave, sweet in his words, and very sober in his endeavors.
He was respectful to everyone and worked for the benefit of all. Diplomacy, envy, and jealousy were unknown to his heart.
The 50 qualities of Lord Krishna were all present in his body.
You can read the other one.
In one who has unflinching devotional faith in Krishna, all the good qualities of Krishna and the demigods are consistently manifested. However, one who has no devotion to the Supreme Personality of Godhead has no good qualifications because he is engaged by mental concoction in material existence, which is the external feature of the Lord.
So this was the last point I wanted. That's the last verse we can read. That's okay. That's the last point I wanted to make, that all the most wonderful qualities develop in the pure devotee who practices bhakti seriously, just like Haridas Thakur. So just to summarize, so the science of bhakti yoga is the solution and the cure for all of the suffering in the world, because it frees us all from our envy, because we learn to be satisfied with whatever comes out of its own accord, seeing that everything and everyone belongs to Krishna, and so we should be grateful with whatever he gives to us. And B, it gives us direct perception of who we are by realization. C, it never ends. D, it is joyfully performed. E, it's our supreme occupation as a spirit soul, and thus it can fully satisfy us. F, it cleanses our heart of all impurities. G, it ends the cycle of birth and death. H, it increases the ocean of transcendental bliss. And I, it gives us all the good qualities of the demigods. Hari Bol. It's a pretty good deal, isn't it? It's not bad. The most bang for your buck, I think you can get. All right. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Do we have any questions or comments? Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, Ajit Prabhu. Thank you so much. I always enjoy your classes. In hearing your class, I remembered this verse from the 7th canto that Prahlad Maharaj says that I wanted to share, if that's okay. It relates nicely to your point of, this verse is talking about how Bhakti Yoga is really the only way we can be happy, how Bhakti Yoga, giving that to others, is the supreme benediction for all humanity, and the desire of a pure devotee. You mentioned how Prahlad Maharaj, he wanted his father to be liberated, but he didn't do that on a material level, like he's my dad, I don't want to see my dad hurt, like out of pity. Because he's a pure devotee, he understands that the best thing he can do is give his father the opportunity to serve. But anyway, he says this in the Canto 7, Chapter 9, verse 44. My dear Lord Nrsimhadev, I see that there are many saintly persons indeed, but they are interested only in their own deliverance. Not caring for the big cities and towns, they go to the Himalayas or the forest to meditate with vows of silence, Maunavrat. They are not interested in delivering others. As for me, however, I do not wish to be liberated alone, leaving aside all these poor fools and rascals. I know that without Krishna consciousness, without taking shelter of your lotus feet, one cannot be happy. Therefore, I wish to bring them back to shelter at your lotus feet. And I think we can all see our spiritual masters in that example of a pure devotee. Hare Krishna.
That's what I love about whenever I give a class. It's so amazing. It always seems like, I just have general idea of what I'm talking about. But at the end of the class, it always happens that whatever I failed to talk about, that I really talk about, like a devotee in the audience will say it. So thank you for bringing it towards preaching, because that's a big important thing we should take away from this verse is, the devotee is always thinking, how can I bring others to Krishna consciousness? And so, we have busy lives. Most of us, we can't just, go on Sankirtan every day type of thing. But we should always have that meditation. Okay, how am I preaching? How am I sharing Krishna consciousness? What effort am I doing to go out of my shell a little bit? Put myself in a bit of a uncomfortable situation. Go and interact with people in whatever environment, streets or events or gatherings and whatnot. And it's a really wonderful way to practice and see, okay, how free am I of judgment? How free am I of envy? How free am I of pride? How magnanimous am I? So I just want to encourage everyone that, and there's so many ways, there's so many different ways, but you should have a meditation. How am I serving Srila Prabhupada? It made him so happy when he saw the advancement of his movement. That was like his life and soul. Even when he was almost about to leave his body, if he got reports of how many books were distributed or devotees joining or so many, that was like his life and soul. That was keeping him alive. So, and when we please Srila Prabhupada, when we please this parampara, then who is pleased? Lord Shri Krishna himself. And that's how we can make rapid advancement. Hare Krishna, yes.
I know everybody's aware, but Chakri Prabhu goes out every Sunday about 2:30 down on Greenville Avenue, and I've been really wanting to go, but that's a really wonderful way that we could all fulfill Srila Prabhupada's desire. Anyway, I just wanted to put a plug in there for the Harinam.
Yes. Book distribution with Krishna House pretty much every day is available. So if you want. We go from 10 a.m., come back at like 2 p.m. Usually, yeah. Yeah? Okay, we can talk. Wonderful. Yeah, there's a lot of Spanish-speaking people on campus. Jai. Anyone else? Yes, Prabhu?
This statement that a person who has no devotion, Supreme Personality of Godhead, has no good qualifications. Sometimes people seem like they have a lot of good qualifications. Even though they don't do devotional service like we do. For instance, I work in the Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, and we set up the halftime shows, and there's the games, and there's a lot of real pretty upbeat people, and there seems to be certain level of honesty there. That everybody gets paid their wages. There's a lot of efficiency. With the work that everyone does. There's a lot of really people who seem to seem kind of honest. They work hard. They take care of their families. But they're not devotees, so how is it that they have that no good qualifications? It seems like they have good qualifications.
Yeah, I think it was Srila Prabhupada, but I've heard this, that when materialistic people have qualities are there. But it's compared to like a whole bunch of zeros. Whole bunch of zeros put together. It's just zero. But if you add the one Krishna in front, then it makes it huge number like that. So if we have qualities that but we don't recognize that were given to us by Krishna, and we're using them to serve ourselves, and we're committing sinful activities, we use the qualities to get money so that I can buy alcohol and then mistreat my partner, or I buy meat, or I go gambling. The thing is, we don't know what people are doing at home. At work, we always try to put on a good face, and like, I'm gonna act like a good citizen so I can keep getting my money, so I can keep getting my sense gratification. But the qualities are there, and all you have to do is just add the one in front, and then you have a huge number. It's true. And then sometimes, sometimes we have somebody new come to the house, or I meet on Sankirtan, and I'm just like, wow, they have no idea about bhakti or anything, but you're very inspiring to me. I can sense like that, you're sincere, and your parents taught you some good values. A lot of it actually originally comes from religion. Like, it comes from scriptures. It might not be like Vedic scriptures, but even from, Christianity or Islam, you learn values, and it has to do with devotion as well. Like, it's just like it's been kind of watered down over time, but our society is founded on religion, like on words from scriptures as well. So does that help a little bit? Thank you, Prima. Anybody else have anything else to say? That was a little bit rambly. I don't know. Okay. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
turn on.